All right, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the CTS College Private Secondary School Information Session. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning. And allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mr. Lyndon Brown. I am the Program Manager of CTS College Preschool, Primary School, and Secondary School Program. And you can reach me at the information that is on the screen. Right, my email address, it's lbrown@ctscollege.com. And you can also take down my personal contact number, which is 753-2330. Feel free to call or WhatsApp, and I will be able to assist at any point in time. I know there are some persons that might be on the session right now that may have already been registered with CTS College for this upcoming term starting on the 6th of September. So if you don't already have my contact, now is the time that you can take it down. If you don't always get onto me, which is highly unlikely, you can also reach the office line, which is at 671-2551, and any one of the available staff would be able to assist you with any questions or concerns that you might have relating to any of the programs listed above. So let's begin our information session today. How many of you would have heard about CTS College or heard or did something with CTS College before? Anybody? So I'm seeing one person. Right, so I'm seeing a number of persons indicating that they would have completed programs with us with CTS College before, right? And how many persons have given a consideration to what careers that they would like to get into after you study at CTS? So what would happen is that now when students are entering the CSEC program or the secondary school by extension, now is the best time to start thinking about the qualifications that you would need for that specific field of study that you would like to get into, as well as you would also need to take into consideration what is the best route that you would like to use to get to that qualification. And regardless of what career path that any student choose, you must be qualified. Persons in senior positions in organizations usually have a higher qualifications, and this is usually bachelor's degrees as well as master degree programs. And it is very much important to have the necessary qualifications, right? Even for on-the-job training that is being graciously offered in Trinidad and Tobago, you must be qualified in order to get into the program to actually work in either the government offices that they place you in. Another question for this morning: how many persons are planning to work right after the CSEC program? So by a show of hands, how many persons are just going to start to work in order to fund their tertiary education? Right. And in order to get that job to fund your tertiary education, you have to consider the job opportunities that is actually available for a person with only CSEC and what kind of salaries they pay, right? So you want to make sure that you're comfortable, one, with your salary range. You want to ensure that you're able to work in a comfortable work environment based on the salary that you would have received from that job. Right? And all of that would contribute to based on your CXC qualifications and how well or what programs you'll be able to get into after your CSEC program, as well as your secondary education, and what type of jobs you would be able to get into as well. So on today's agenda, we'll be looking at why CXC or why CSEC, right? CSEC at CTS College, registering with CTS College. So one moment. So we'll be looking at CSEC, why CSEC, CSEC at CTS College, registering with CTS College, IGCSE, which is for the science subjects, as well as CSEC for the science subjects, the fees associated with those subjects. We'll be looking at CTS College and what makes us different as an institution, as an educational provider right here in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as we'll be looking at the subjects and the timetables associated with the program here with us at CTS College. We'll be looking at registering with CTS College, as well as the Ministry of Education for those persons who are private candidates wanting to join CTS College. We'll be looking at what the academic year would be looking like, and we'll be looking at the next step after CXC. So what would happen after CXC? What degrees you can get into right here with us at CTS College, right? So a lot of persons or young persons will be like, why do I have to go to school? Why do I need to study CXC? What makes me applicable to study this specific program? And CSEC, just to list a few points, a few brief points, it is important to have a CSEC education because CSEC is evidence of secondary education. Because a lot of employers, even though you may be applying for a job in the grocery store, if you're applying for a job as a store clerk, as an administrative staff, some of those basic jobs would require some evidence of CSEC education. CSEC is often the minimum qualification and requirement for the jobs, as well as to enter into tertiary education. And CSEC means a change in career paths for most persons in the public system, in the private sector, and even for personal achievement as well. So even persons that is wanting to get into the program would like to do CXC or CSEC because they want to make a difference in their job life. So we have a lot of persons that might be joining the program because they would like to get into the program for the CSEC program for higher degrees, all right? So about CTS College, right? Our mission is to provide high quality and relevant educational opportunities while promoting excellence in staff and students. CTS College has over 20 years of professional experience in the education industry, right? We provide both preschool, primary school, secondary school, as well as diploma programs, bachelor's degree programs, as well as master's programs here at CTS College. We have a wide range of professional developmental programs. So for parents as well, that is actually on the meeting this morning, if at any point in time you want to enhance your resume, if you want to take on an additional program, CTS College is definitely the place to be. As I always tell my colleagues, as I tell my students, and even I am telling you this morning, CTS College is definitely the one-stop shop for education. We are ACTT recognized, meaning that we are accredited by the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. And with over the 20 years of experience here at CTS College, we have met major milestones. And in those achievements, we were the winner of 96 ABE World Prizes since 2007. And ABE is an international diploma that is being offered right here at CTS College. And with this diploma, it provides students with the know-how in terms of business management to move on to their bachelor's degree in business administration. And we are the winner of 47 university awards with the University of Hertfordshire, which is an awarding body that we partner with in the UK. And we are the winner of 2 ABMA Academic Achievement Awards, as well as for local awards, we are the winner of 11 ACTT awards, 6 for student support services, 3 for excellence for an established quality management service, as well as 2 for excellence in teaching and learning. So here at CTS College, we are well equipped with the knowledge as well as the know-how in terms of preparing our students for any type of examinations, whether it be CSEC, SEA, as well as international exams and students completing their bachelor's and master's degree accordingly. Some of the success stories that is associated with CTS College over the years, and over the past couple of weeks, I've had multiple conversations with parents where they call and say, well, you know, Lyndon, my child is just coming out of SEA, and I'm not sure what he or she may do, or my child is in the public system, and by public system, I mean a secondary school, and they're not comfortable with the teachings that they offer at the secondary school. And these are some of the success stories over the years here at CTS College, where we had a 9-year-old student, Sanjay Bridgelal Singh, passing CXE IT for the first time in 2017. In 2018, he went on to pass 2 more subjects, all in grade 1s and grade 2s. His sister, also at the age of 14 years old, passed 2 CSEC subjects. So we do not limit our students' ability. Here at CTS College, we always push our students to do the best because we provide them with the level of support that is required for their program, for our program, and for themselves. So yes, you might think the program is a bit fast-tracked and they're jumping ahead of time and stuff like that, but that is not all. Here at CTS College, we ensure that when the students leave our classrooms, they are well equipped to take on the work world, they are well equipped to advance to their degrees, they are well equipped and they understand the syllabus and the topics that is associated with everything within the curriculum offered by the Ministry of Education. So we do not take away anything from the curriculum. The same curriculum, the same syllabi that is being delivered in the secondary schools are the same syllabi we use here at CTS College, right? So moving on to other success stories, we had Raphael Rattan and Daniel Senaswi, both 11 and 12 years old, just coming out of secondary school as well. And they would have written CXE, and they passed these subjects with grade 1s and grade 2s, right? In 2019, we had a non-national student by the name of Hamchan Bisundial. He actually entered into a secondary school, and in attending that school, because he was a non-national, the institution was unable to allow him to write the examinations. So Hamchan came to CTS College. We assisted him in getting the study permit and stuff like that. We provided him with the necessary documentation, and he then wrote 6 CXE subjects in which he all passed with grade 1s. And that was in the year 2019 when he wrote his examinations. Hamchan then completed the CXE program and then went on to complete his diploma, right, which is the Associate of Business Executives, and now he's moving on to his bachelor's degree. And all of that was done right here at CTS College in a total amount of 2 years. So here at CTS College, we pride ourselves on customer service management. We pride ourselves on ensuring that our students are well equipped to go into the exam room. And we know that COVID-19 has posed many threats on the education sector, where online classes are becoming redundant. Students are saying that it's not enjoyable. They're sitting behind a screen, they're looking at the teacher, but what are they really taking away from those classes? What is really happening when their parents are not home? What is really happening in terms of the midterm and the end of term examinations? Here at CTS College, we ensure that all our students are well equipped, like I said, for the examinations, and they are also able to complete the exams, and they're able to understand what is taking place. So just to give you a little bit of background information about CTS College Private Secondary School, CTS have been offering full-time classes and part-time classes for over a decade, and we have formally launched a secondary school back in September of 2018. And CTS College was an ideal school, or is an ideal school, sorry, for students who are requesting to write CXE and who is eventually want to get that level of education, that quality education, right? Over the years at CTS College, we were able to provide the level of support to all our students and to our parents to ensure that they are well equipped with all the knowledge, as well as some parents listed concerns that they have tried to create a conducive learning environment based on the schools that their children would have attended, but that wasn't possible. And COVID-19, like I said, did a number on the country as well as extension the world, and it has placed a great amount of stress upon parents whereby they were not sure of the quality of education that their children were receiving. So we are here to tell you that online classes would be possible, and it is also able to assist in ensuring that your children are readily prepared for their exams, as well as we also, when we did our consensus, we were able to see that students were affected by the absenteeism of teachers, as well as bullying, as well as poor quality of teaching, and the lack of proper examination, preparation, and student support mechanisms in the public system. And we are here to help alleviate those issues. We wanted to create an environment where learning is fun, and it fosters critical thinking in all students, not just one particular student, because we are strong believers that if there's a class, all students should be moving forward. So we are moving with the method that no students would be left behind. Right. So what makes us different? So here at CTS College, we have individual attention, right, with a strong focus on academics and holistic development. So for our full-time students, that is actually our full-time parents who are requesting or would like to have their
thinking about it, listing all the people who got diplomas,
their children,
and like people who were like
hello,
who graduated, not graduated, but like.
Simone, you had a question? Okay.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. So as I said, what makes us different? Individual attention and strong focus on academics and holistic development. So here at CTS College, we have something called professional developmental skills. And the professional developmental skills, it's a non-academic program, which we teach students life skills. So like resume writing, interviewing skills, public speaking, events management, and we also have counseling sessions as well, which allow the students to actually sit in and see exactly what is actually taking place apart from secondary school education. So it helps them get prepared for that world of work. So they will know exactly what to expect so that they wouldn't be blindsided when they go into an interview, and they would be prepared with what is taking place. So for the parents that is actually enrolling their children in the full-time classes, personal developmental skills is definitely a session that you would like to also take into consideration as well, right? Apart from that, we have a secured online environment with excellent and well-trained professional teachers. And in terms of our online environment, our classes would be delivered online via Zoom, right? In terms of our lecturers, we have well-trained lecturers. Our staff goes through a series of training over the COVID-19 pandemic, so they would be well aware as to how to assist students and parents in the online learning process, because we understand that some parents may not be too conducive to online learning, or they are not really tech savvy, and that is what our staff is here for. That is what I am here for, to assist in that process. It's something that we needed to adapt to, and we can all learn from each other. And our teachers, my staff, they are pretty much equipped with the knowledge in all subject areas. They are young, they are resilient teachers as well. And once you've been registered with us, you would meet them on the day of the orientation, because they would be there to introduce themselves and just touch base with you based on the subjects that they would be lecturing with us. We also have excellent student support and a dedicated program manager. We also provide counseling for students that needs that level of assistance. If it is something that is out of our control, then we would make the necessary arrangements to get further assistance outside of CTS College. Apart from that, we have social events committee. Pre-COVID, we had a lot of activities where students and parents were able to join in and attend hikes, attend lip sync battles. We had even field trips for students as well, but we are hoping to resume all of that soon once we are able to go back out to the public. But if that is not the case, then we would definitely have to remain online. The support that is available. So like I said, we have a dedicated program manager, which is me, right? You have my contact again. So let me just repeat it for those who didn't get it. My number is 753-2330, and I am Lyndon Brown, the program manager. You have free access to resources via the CTS College IBIS Link Academy and CTS College Google Drive. And the IBIS Link Academy, once you are a registered student, you would automatically be given a student portal. And on the day of orientation, we will be going through how both full-time and part-time students would be able to get access to this online learning environment, because it's a place where you go to access your notes, your handouts, your homework, together with your recordings for your classes, as well as past paper questions. And you would also be going on there to get access to your midterm and end of term examinations. And if also students, teachers do quizzes for students, it would also be available there, right? We have digital soft copies of the syllabus, textbooks, as well as past papers. So the number one question that we would have received, what books we need to get. You parents, you do not need to purchase any books. All materials would be provided via soft copy. If you want to print it out at your expense, it is entirely up to you, but all of the materials would be provided, as well as we would have PowerPoint presentations after each session that would be made available for the students. So there's no need to purchase any of the books. The teachers would readily prepare all of those contents to the students, right? We have student support services where provisions are made for students to get additional help with homework, or remedial help for students with past paper assistance and academic writing skills to assist with the SBAs when that time comes around, as well as we have WhatsApp groups available. Myself, as well as the teachers and parents and students will be able to communicate via WhatsApp groups, because we understand that here's what, everybody's working, everybody is usually away from home most part of the day, and you don't have time to check your emails. So the purpose of the WhatsApp group is to basically communicate important information to the students in the event probably a class happens to cancel, if we are hosting class on a different date, if we are making any adjustments to the schedule. That is the purpose of the WhatsApp group, right? We do intensive past paper classes when it comes down to examinations, as well as we do frequent assessments so that we would be able to track our students' performance as we go along. So before I continue, are there any questions so far? So just a few questions that is coming in on the chat right now. Do you offer high school diploma as well? Mr. Clark, that is something that I would have to address with you privately. Are these internationally recognized? Yes, all of the programs that we offer here at CTS College in terms of the tertiary education programs, Julia, they are internationally recognized, and they are accredited by Times Higher Education. So if you Google Times Higher Education, you would be able to see the listed universities, and you will see the University of Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire listed. You would also see CSEC applicable for adults as well. Yes, we do have CSEC applicable for adults in the part-time classes. Part-time classes range Monday to Friday between the hours of 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., as well as we also do have Saturday sessions available. Unfortunately, at this time, we do not have any CAPE classes for the students right now, but it's something that we are taking into consideration. Yes, all the classes are recorded, so the students would be able to review the recordings in the event that they do not, or they are unable to attend any of the sessions. Unfortunately, because the programs are internationally accredited and associated with awarding bodies in the UK, GATE does not fund international programs. However, though CTS College does have flexible payment plans available for all programs under its umbrella, right? And with those payment plans, you would be able to speak to any program manager that is associated with the program to assist you with the program, the payment plans. Apart from that, if you are requesting to do any tertiary education program and you need financing, we have financing available from Intercommercial Bank JMMB. So they would be able to assist you with setting up a loan and stuff like that, and they would pay us directly and you would pay them. The professional developmental program, it's an additional cost. It's $500 and it's not included. So that is usually on a Friday from 5 p.m. to 8, sorry, not 5 p.m., from 9 a.m. to 12. And I would show you the timetable coming a little down, later down in the presentation. Any other questions before I move along? Okay, perfect. So these are the subjects that is associated with us here at CTS College. I will just give you like a minute or so just to go through those subjects. So we have business and humanities, which is principles of business and accounts put together with social studies. We have technology, which is information technology and electronic document preparation and management. The languages that we offer would be Spanish and English. For sciences, we have biochem, physics, human and social biology, and we also offer mathematics. The subjects highlighted in red would be biochem, physics, and those subjects can also be completed as GCSE subjects. Someone was about to say something? So I'm gonna post my number in terms of the WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group haven't yet been created. What would happen is that coming closer to the start date of the program, which is by next week, no later than next week, we would start creating the WhatsApp groups and sending individual emails for each WhatsApp group. So you would click on the link and join the session. In terms of the IGCSE, I will expand on that shortly as well. So IGCSE and CSEC are two different programs, and I will get into that as well because I don't want to confuse anybody. Right, so this is the timetable that is associated with the upcoming academic year. So you would see how the subjects are being offered, right? So we have the full-time subjects here, right? And as you can see, classes is 1 day for the week for 3 hours. And we have classes from 9 a.m. to 12 and 1 p.m. to 4, right? And just to correct the statement that I just said, the personal developmental skills are actually for 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and computer literacy is offered earlier in the morning from 9 a.m. to 12. Then we have the part-time classes in the afternoon for the adults on the information session right now that would like to participate in the part-time classes. These are the subjects that is available from Monday to Friday, right? And parents, if your children would like to also undertake Spanish as well, Spanish is also available from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. with Ms. Varsha Chotu. She is actually our Spanish lecturer, and she is highly qualified in the field. She would prepare the students in terms of their oral assessment, as well as writing, listening, and verbal skills for the Spanish examination. And for those students that might be wanting to write exams in January 2022, and you would just need that additional help, that additional boost to go forward, we also offer 4 subjects right now, which it says principles of accounts, Maths, Principles of Business, as well as English A, Monday through Thursday. So if you are interested in doing any of those subjects Monday through Thursday, you are also free to register, and I'll be able to go through the fee breakdown for all of the programs shortly. So don't forget, if you have any questions, feel free to hold on to it until the end of the information session, and I will be able to assist you accordingly. So registering with CTS College is pretty much simple. It's a very easy process, right? To register with CTS College, students are required to provide the following to complete the application form. For those of you who would have been joining the information session this morning, you would have received the application form via email, right? Together with the timetable, right? So you can fill out that information, the application form, and send it back to me, but I will still reinforce after the end of the information session, as well as you would be able to email the completed application form. And this is mainly for full-time students. So this second point here is mainly for full-time students. So full-time parents, if you're considering that option, please pay attention to this option, please. You are emailing the completed registration form along with one form of identification and birth paper to study@ctscollege.com, right? So that's one form of identification. If you do not have an ID, that's not a problem, but you must send your birth paper and the application form to ctscollege.com, and you are attaching those documents as an attachment to the email, right? Then you must pay the CTS College registration fee, because in order for any students to undertake any classes with us here at CTS College, they must pay the $200 registration fee, or the registration fee for any program. And this amount is non-refundable, as well as you make a down payment towards your tuition fee. And for the part-time students, you don't need to provide us with any form of identification. You just send us your application form. In terms of registering with CXC, when that time comes around for the private candidate, I would be able to assist you with that process. The process is pretty much easy. You don't have to go into Ministry of Education, because yesterday I had parents going into Ministry of Education to do the registration. No, if you go to Ministry of Education, they would turn you away. So in order to register with the CSEC examination, you would definitely have to register here online. All right. So could you just hold for me 1 second, please, guys? Thank you. I'll be back shortly. Sorry about that, everyone. So to register with CSEC as a private candidate, you must, and to sign up for the January 2022 and June 2022 examination, students are required to do the following, which is the basic. I would send the link via the email as well, but this is the link that the students would use to register via the Ministry of Education's website for the examination, as well as submit an ID affidavit, as well as birth paper and payment from the Revenue Office where applicable, as well as select the subjects that the students would be sitting for the examination, right? And this is basically for the evening students. If you are still unaware of the entire registration process, we would be able to assist you with that process here at CTS College. So it's not a tedious process, but if you need the assistance to avoid any type of errors with the registration, we would assist you with that process. As well as for full-time students on taking classes with us here, the writing of the exams would be done here at CTS College, and we would assist you with the registration. All we would need, like I said, is a copy of your electronic birth certificate, as well as one form of identification, ID card or passport. If you are at least the age of 15, parents, now is the time to get the ID for the students so that they can write the examination, right? Registration with CSEC is mandatory for students who wish to write exams with CTS College, and this must be done before November 30th, 2021. So automatically, once you're coming in with us, it is with the assurance that you would be writing these exams during this year, okay? Right, so just for the CSEC, so with CSEC is basically locally done, right, with Barbados, and by extension, the Ministry of Education with Trinidad and Tobago, right? However, CSEC does not offer an alternate paper, or well, they do offer the alternate paper, right? But for physics, chemistry, and bio, you would be able to do a lab simulation as well as a structured paper. Unfortunately, here at CTS College, we currently do not do the structured, we do not have a lab to facilitate the experiments at this time. So we would be teaching the students simulation using different things like videos and stuff like that, so that the students would be able to or readily prepared for the examination, right? As well as GCE is the Cambridge examination, right? The Cambridge examination is done through an intermediary. So what would happen for any students that is wishing to do physics, chemistry, biology, and by extension, integrated science, and they would like to do it as a GCSE subject, you would have to write that exam externally with an intermediary. The person that we usually go to, or the school that we usually use, would be upper level, and we have recently used SBCS, which is also in Champlain, right? As such, students who are carrying forward SBA marks for those subjects may write it as a CSEC subject. So if you would have written it in a past year, so for example, if you would have written exams this year, 2021, and you want to repeat the subject in 2022, you would still be able to write the subject as a CSEC subject. If this is the first time you're attempting the subject, you would have to do paper 3 with both the Ministry of Education as well as with Cambridge. But with the Ministry of Education, which is CSEC, those subjects would be done via a lab simulation as well as a structured paper. And that is for CXE. And for GCSE, you would be doing those subjects as a paper 3 examination through Upper Level Educational Institute or SBCS. And in terms of the GCSE examination, those examinations come at an additional cost. Everybody follow? So I'll be sure to answer any questions when it comes down to that and repeat any question, anything that anybody has a question with. In terms of the academic year starts with 2 semesters. Semester 1 starts on Monday the 6th, which is in 2 weeks' time of September, and ends on Saturday the 11th of December. Semester 2 starts on the 3rd of January 2022. Orientation is on the 4th of September. So all students registered under CTS College would be required to attend the orientation, and classes start on Monday, the 6th of September. So once you receive the email with the timetable, all of that information would be in the email and on the timetable, as well as I would also send an email with the information as well. In terms of the tuition fees associated with the program, the cost, it is $1,600 per subject for the full academic year, and the academic year starts from September and ends in May. Everybody follow? As well as for those students that is actually writing exams in January, September to December, and writing exams in January of 2022, the cost will be $800 per subject. All right, for any students doing 5 subjects would be a total of $8,000 for the academic year. And obviously there's a $200 registration fee. This is a one-time fee, and please be reminded that this is a non-refundable fee. For the private candidates, please take note of this third point here. CSEC exams are free for the first 2 attempts. And this is for a Caribbean national. After the student is required to pay any fees applicable. So once you have used up your 2 free chances as a private candidate, then we would be able to, then you would have to pay, right? So oftentimes students think that their 2 chances would be in their secondary school, and then when they wrote it privately the first time, no. You must write privately the first time. You must write the exams 2 times, privately before you pay the 3rd time. IGC examination fees. These examination fees are applicable only to those students writing physics, chemistry, biology, and integrated science as per the previous slides. And the estimated cost, it is 450 TT per subject, and this is payable to upper level or SBCS, but coming closer to the start date of the program or to the registration of the examination, we would let you know. So for the registration for the examination, it is usually done in, for CSEC, registration is usually in the month of November and ends by the 30th of November. And for GCSE exam, there are 2 sittings. There's the June sitting and there's the November sitting. For the June sitting, registration usually starts in January and ends in March. And for the November sitting, I believe it's somewhere around mid-June, July. So you would have to check if you're doing with the November sitting, but we would be able to assist with only with the January sitting at this time, right? So now we would like to look at transitioning from your CSEC program to your degree. Over 14,000 students complete the secondary school program in Trinidad every year, right? And with completing that program in Trinidad each year, they're not, even if there's 5,000 jobs available each year in Trinidad, who would get the first preference, or who is more likely to get the first preference? Employers who shortlist their persons, they shortlist based on 1, the interview process, if you had a really good interview process, and obviously the highest qualification. This may not necessarily mean CSEC or CAPE. All right, so we want to take into consideration what are we going to do after the CSEC program, because this is really very much important. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you attend CTS College, but we would definitely like for you to do so. But what are you going to do after the CSEC program? So after the CSEC program here at CTS College, we offer business management programs. And with the business management programs, we have levels 4, 5, and 6 in business management. And we also have a specialization in human resource management, marketing management, and those students will be able to specialize in level 4 and level 5. And the program is pretty much short. It takes approximately a year or 2 years to be completed at max. And after completing that business management program after CXC, they would be able to move on to their Bachelor's of Arts in Business Administration. And the Bachelor's of Business Administration takes approximately 1 year to be completed. And after completing that program, you would be able to move on to the Masters in Business Administration. So I know there are some parents on the meeting as well. So parents, if at any point in time you believe that you would like to take a chance and go back to school as well, level, and you would like to start over your education or start your education or continue your education, level 5 is definitely the route for you, especially if you have the minimum work experience of 2 years. It can get you into ABE level 5 and then move on to the bachelor's degree and then move on to the MBA. For students requesting to do a degree in information technology or computer science, we have the BSc in information technology, and that program would basically allow you entry into the master's degree where you would be able to complete digital technology management as your IT MBA. Right, so this is just a diagram to show you what you would be doing and the process in which you would be doing it. So you have CSEC, then you have the BSc in IT, then you have the master's degree. If you're doing business administration, you have CSEC, you have ABE, you have business administration, and then you have the MBA program. And it's pretty much simple and easy. Yes, we understand we have to take into consideration the cost factors and stuff like that, but we do have the necessary financing, the necessary payment plans available for all parents and students that is associated with the program. So now we have come to the end of the brief information session. And what I would like to do is to now open the floor for any questions or concerns, if you might have those. So I'm just going to take a minute to just go through the chat because I'm seeing here that a lot of questions came in. So I'll answer those questions first, and then I will go towards anyone who would like to unmute their mic and ask any questions. Right, so for the ID and the birth paper, I would need the child's ID and the birth paper because that would be the student that is associated with CTS College. So I would need that child's ID and birth paper to register them for the exam, and that is for full-time students. All right, is the same. So HSB at this time does not have SBA, right? So HSB does not have a SBA at this time. So any students wishing to do a SB, not do a science, to do a science subject and not do a SBA, HSB is the right subject to do. However, though, there is talks by the Caribbean Examination Council stating that they would now be including SBA for HSB come 2022. So this is, I believe that this is the final year for that to be completed. Right, so how do you access IBISLink? IBISLink would be given access to the students upon registration. So once they've been registered, based on the email that they provide us with, their email will be linked to that IBISLink account and they would have access to that account. And on the day of orientation, we would be going through the step-by-step process as to how to access the notes, the handouts, and the different materials for IBISLink. Right, so for students that is requesting, that is actually receiving results in and the end of September based on the 2021 sitting, we would be continuing, we would be starting the classes as normal. However, the advantage that we have here at CTS College is that all our classes are recorded. And because the classes are recorded, if students start at a later date, they would be given access to those recordings and they would be able to review these sessions. So CSEC is expected to be out by at least the 3rd week in September, which would mean that at least 3 classes would have gone by. So they would have access to those 3 sessions and they would be able to review those recordings. They would have access to the notes, handouts, and if they have any questions as it relates to anything that they don't understand, their teachers would be able to assist you in the process of that. In terms of your IT degree, Mr. Richards, I'm not sure if you get to pick your programming language, but send me a message on 753-2330, and I will have the program manager, Mr. Miguel Ward, reach out to you in regards to that, and he would be able to provide you with further assistance. In terms of the science subject offered at CTS, unfortunately, the only subject that is being offered on a full-time basis at this time would actually be HSB. All other subjects would be offered as a evening subject. All right. With respect to the full-time. With respect to the full-time students, would we have to inform the Ministry of? Yes, so what would happen is that you would have to go to the public school that the child is in, let the public school know that you are removing them from their system, and when you remove them, if they need any type of documentation stating that they are now enrolled at CTS College, we'll be able to provide you with the letters. Obviously, the letters must be requested in advance so that we would be able to assist you with that. So you go to you take the letter to the school, and the school would then deregister the students on their side. Will a student who pursue IGCSE subjects be able to do CAPE after at another? Yes, they would be able to do CAPE after, because CAPE usually recognizes the IGCSE. We even had students completing the GCSE program going on to the University of the West Indies, and they would have been able to complete the N1 program. So the Cambridge qualification would be accepted. So it's nothing to be worried about. They would accept the Cambridge qualification. Yes, all classes would be recorded as previously mentioned. Yes, so once you have results, and yes, so if you because results are coming out and you want to register now, and you might want to switch the subjects when results come out to something else, or you may want to discontinue, is definitely not a problem. We can make the arrangement, but you would have to contact us to let us know. You can't just drop out of the classes, because if you drop out of the classes, all the fees are not notify us by a scheduled date. All the fees will become applicable, and all of this would be discussed in the orientation upon registration. In terms of the master's program, most definitely you can't get into the master's program using work experience only. You would just have to get a job letter from your company quoting your tenure. Your tenure must not be less than 3 years, and it must be at least in a supervisory or managerial position. All right, so for Ms. Whitney Thomas, I do apologize for the issue that you're having with the application form. So feel free to send me a WhatsApp message. My number is 753-2330. That number again is 753-2330, and I will be able to assist you accordingly. What happened? So if the student is in another private institution, I believe that the process will be similar as ours. You just notify the institution that the student would no longer be returning as a formality, so that they wouldn't register the student for any of their classes, as well as ensuring that these two they are not registered with the Ministry of Education. Once you do that, you let us know accordingly, and we would start the registration process on our ends. Mr. Clark, do you accept international qualifications? In terms of international qualifications, I'm not sure exactly what you're speaking about, but you can leave your number in the chat, and I would be able to assist you with any questions as it relates to that question. No, there's no age limit to do CXC. You can do CXC at 50, just saying. You can do CXC at 50, you can do CXC at 75. Once you're able to sit in the classes, it's definitely not a problem at all. Do we have any questions as it relates to anyone Any questions? And feel free to unmute your mic as well. Right, so I just have
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
My question is, okay, where are you located?
We are located in Montrose, Chaguanas.
What street is that?
Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Montrose is a long main road. Which area you're coming from?
Not from the north, from the north.
If you're coming from Trin City side, you would be taking you can either take the intersection, the turnoff, sorry, by Grand Bazaar and come down the highway and turn off by Bagwan Sings. When you reach by Bagwan, and when you turn off by Bagwan Sings, you pass Greystone Plaza, then you meet the first traffic light on your right and you swing up on the main road. But I have your contact, Mr. Clark, so I can give you better directions when I call you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, in terms of the registration for the GCSE program, if you're talking about CTS registration, we actually don't have a registration right now, but we are trying to work with as much parents as possible because classes are starting on the 6th. In terms of exam registration usually starts in January. Exams registration has not yet started for the CSEC examinations in June. However, though we would let the parents and students know when that time comes around, we'll send out an email for anybody that would need assistance with the registration. We would assist you with that registration for the private candidates. Yes, orientation would be done virtually on the 4th of September, which I believe is next week, Saturday. Yes, so every week, what I try to do is to reinforce the emails every week because some students would think that the link would change, but the link for the classes does not change. So yes, every week the students would get I shouldn't say every week, but for every session, the students would get a reminder on the WhatsApp group. If I forget to do it, the lecturers, my trusted lecturers, would always assist with resending the link for the students in the chat as well as via email so that they would be able to get it. So, Ms. Julia, just to answer your question, most definitely you would be able to do the classes. Obviously, the part-time classes we already have a fixed timetable from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. However, we would be happy to facilitate you if you are able to review the recordings. And if it's something that you think that you are trained enough to do, definitely not a problem because last year we did have students doing the working because they were frontline workers and reviewing the sessions after. Right? But it's not something that we try to condone because we always try to ensure that our students are part of the classroom discussions because we have highly interactive classes. Unfortunately, not at this time. CTS, the college, does not offer tours. All of our teachers here at CTS College are well equipped with their bachelor's degree in education, whether it be in English and linguistics, whether it be in their subject area, Spanish, as well as all of their science subjects. All of our students would have gone to either UE, UTT, and by extension, an international university. Most of our teachers would have already completed their master's in business administration as well as their MSc as well. So in terms of where our qualifications are being asked about, all of our teachers, sorry, are well qualified and well equipped to be in the classroom, as well as they go through online training so that they would be able to deal with that situation when it arises in terms of dealing with students. No, so for the orientation, there would be a new Zoom ID and that will be sent out later next week. So in terms of IBIS link would only be made available when the student is registered, but even though the student may have access to it, the resources would not be available until classes start because it is so many subjects that is being offered. We are still in the process of uploading that information, and that information takes quite a bit of time to upload the number of documents that we actually have. But once that becomes available, the students would be notified. In terms of the class size range somewhere well over 20s based on the subjects that you're registering for. Not a problem, Miss Julia. So my number is 753-2330 so that you can check those as well. You can message me on WhatsApp as well, and I'll be able to assist. Parents and students that is actually on the chat right now, I just sent a link of a small survey that we would like for you to participate in. All you have to do is to copy the link in your browser. Once you copy the link in your browser, you would be able to fill out the survey. The survey is basically to find out how you found out about CTS College so that we would know exactly where our ads are going and how far and who our ads are actually meeting. And just wanting to note as well, our classes would remain online for the upcoming academic year. And I say this with great pride. This is because all our we have different students from around Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Extension, the Caribbean. So if we plan to switch to face-to-face classes once the ministry says that we can, we wouldn't be able to do that because we would be displacing a lot of students. So yes, you fill out the forms. At the end of this session, I will send the recording as well as I would reinforce the application forms. And feel free to WhatsApp me because I know some persons may have additional questions and some may be a bit shy, but feel free to WhatsApp me after the session and I will be able to assist you accordingly. So are there any additional questions before we wrap up? No, so there are no uniforms for full-time classes. However, we are kindly asking that all students dressed appropriately for classes. And by appropriately, I mean a t-shirt, a button-up. We don't expect to see students lying on their beds. We don't expect to see students in vests, especially the young girls, especially the boys. Don't come to class bareback. You would be removed from the entire session for the day. We try to make sure that students are well professional in class because my staff give off a level of professionalism. Mr. Sankar, you had a question?
Yeah, just one thing. I know you just said that if the ministry says we have to go back to face-to-face school, would you all be running a parallel between the online and face-to-face? Because the question I'm asking, if they write in 2022 and they need to repeat, would they now have to come to the school face-to-face or they could continue online?
They can continue online if they do. In terms of running the face-to-face session, it would be a bit difficult because it would be stretching the teaching population a bit thin, and we would hate to do that to our lecturers right now, so we would definitely be remaining online. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the reason I'm asking because I think most parents are gravitating towards the online who are actually here. I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
so I just
no
want to know that for further on that if we actually enroll and we have to continue going forward, that that is online now.
Yes, classes would remain online. Right? So to register for the January classes, you would use the application form that I will send to you via the email at the end. In terms of physical classes, classes would be remaining online. Okay, we would not have any classes at this time physically because the Minister of Education did state that classes would be remaining face-to-face. Sorry, online, my apologies. All right, so parents, I would like to take this time to thank you so very much for joining in the session this morning. Please do not forget to